man.
Alright.
Oh man, this is the most beautiful tree I've seen all day. Here we are again, the universe is conspiring. And I wanted to tell y'all a little bit about lucid dreaming, how to use it, how to do it. And first, what is lucid dreaming? Well, lucid dreaming is when you're in a dream, standing here like right now, and you look down at your hands or you look around at your surroundings and you realize that you're in a dream. Normally, lucidity only lasts a couple seconds unless you know the proper techniques. Now, the way to induce lucid dreaming, there's two techniques. First, write the word dreaming on your hand every day do it for a couple days. It only works on the first day. And what'll happen is when you're in your dream, you'll look down at your hand and you'll notice that the word dreaming isn't there. Subconsciously, that'll click. You ever seen the movie Inception? It's like the kick that wakes everyone up, basically. That'll be your kick. So that's one way. Then another thing to do is get a binaural beat. Just type in binaural beat on YouTube. The first thing that comes up is an 8-hour long lucid dream binaural beat. Do about a 20 to 30 minute meditation with it right before you go to sleep. That's going to help you induce the same brain state as lucidity in a dream. So once you wake up in a dream and you realize that it's lucid, what you want to do is look at your hands. That's normally the first thing you do. You look at your hands, you realize that you're in your body, because you're not always in your body when you're dreaming. So you look at your hands, look to the left, look up to the left, look directly up, look up to the right, look to the right, and then back at your hands. And you don't have to go clockwise, you can go counterclockwise if you want to. And what you have to do is make sure that you don't look at anything for too long, because if you notice, if you stare at something for too long in a dream, it'll start to become fuzzy, and then it'll disappear or change, and you'll be in a totally different place. So you have to maintain focus. Also, you can't get too excited or too afraid. If you've ever been in a dream where you're skateboarding and you hit a rock or you hit a pothole and then you fall, as soon as you hit the ground you wake up, that's because that's when your fear spiked. Or if you've ever had a dream where you were having sex, as soon as you're about to hit the climax, you wake up because you got too excited. So those things are completely and totally inevitable. You can't really help it. But once you become lucid in a dream and you practice these techniques where you can walk around a little bit, you can walk up and talk to people, you keep focusing on your hands, you're focusing on the surroundings, you have to keep concentrated, you can change anything and do anything that you want to. For instance, my favorite thing to do is telekinesis, because it's just really cool. You feel like you get superhuman powers. So I like using Spider-Man's little web shooter, and I like doing telekinesis. And the cool thing is, when you're in a dream, you feel it like it's reality. Like if you experience pain or pleasure, you actually feel it. It is, your brain is basically, your consciousness is recreating that exact same energy on a higher dimension. So you're feeling it as if it's real. So whenever I'm doing telekinesis, I'm feeling like I'm actually doing it, and it's kind of cool. I just use my mind and look at an object and then imagine myself inside the object, and then I stick my hand out and connect myself with the object, and I can move it. I usually start off with something small and then work my way up bigger. And almost every single time during one of these dreams, I'll say, oh my God, I finally figured it out. I'm doing telekinesis. I can do it, guys. Look, it's real. Please tell me this isn't a dream. And then, of course, every single time you wake up and realize that you were just dreaming the whole time, which can be disappointing. But it's always fun to go back into a dream the next night and do the same thing. Your subconscious gathers information from what you see on your day-to-day lives and what you think and what you feel and what you take in subconsciously. And there's all types of subliminal messages it will give you during that dream state. That was weird. It'll send you...
That was awesome.
That was awesome. He's going over there to get some bikini action. And but basically you can, whatever you see in a dream, it's your subconscious trying to tell you something. So you can take these things as symbols or as metaphors, and then you can use them to learn from. And it almost directly affects your life almost immediately. For instance, the other day, I had a dream. The next day, I was going to a concealed carry license class where I was going to get my permit. And I was worried that I was going to be late because it was a long drive. And my mom had told me that it was about an hour and a half from Ocala, which is where I had to go first. So that night I was a little worried. During my dream, it started off, my friend Westbrook and his girlfriend Alex were giving me and my brother a ride to this place. I'll make it kind of quick. We walked in and the rain, well, it was raining outside, and the water started leaking through the roof. And it started leaking a little bit over here and then a little bit over here, and they were trying to put buckets under over here. And the first thing I realized is these people don't have their stuff together. I'm trying to keep, these people don't have their stuff together. So that's the first emotion that I felt. So eventually more and more rain started coming down, and then the entire roof fell in and the whole building collapsed. And as my brother and I are running out, he's right behind me. I get out before he does. I turn around and he's coming out of the rubble, and he's got a kitchen knife stuck all the way into his arm, which I found pretty bizarre because my brother wasn't even going to me with this course. Well, my mom was going with me, and her and my brother have a lot in common. And the first thing, whenever I went to Ocala, I had to do some inventory with my crystals. And I thought I was going to be late to the class, and then I GPS'd it, just like in the dream. When I GPS'd it, I found out it was a lot closer. I forgot to mention that, but in the dream I GPS'd it and I found out that it was actually a lot closer than I thought. So the next day, the same thing happens. I'm at Dr. Lemire's office in Ocala. I GPS it, find out I'm going to be right on time, just like in the dream. And my mom and I, we show up. Well, we showed up separately. We took separate vehicles. And I walk in, the first thing I see is Muslim-free zone, and I saw pictures of presidents with targets painted on their faces, and instantly I knew that I got the same feeling. These people don't have their stuff together. And that's the first emotion that I had in the dream too, as soon as I walked in the building. So we're sitting down, and they're teaching us a little bit, and in the dream it started to drip a little bit more over here, and then a little bit more over here, then eventually the whole roof came in. Well, I realized that they didn't have their stuff together just in the signs initially when I first walked in there, and then they started teaching us, and these grown women started acting like total children. They started throwing pins at each other in front of the whole class, shooting rubber bands. I got hit with a pin and a rubber band, and then at the end they had chased each other around the room twice and taken red Sharpies and drawn all over each other's arms like some straight 10-year-olds. It was absolutely disturbing. I was uncomfortable. And so at that point I realized these people don't have their stuff together, and the rain was coming in, man. It was exactly how it happened in the dream. It was a metaphor. It was a metaphorical premonition that I had. And I was really confused because I didn't understand why my brother came out with a knife stuck in his arm. Well, we went out to the range at the very end of the class, and my mom was with me. Again, my mom and my brother, they have a lot in common. And while my mom was shooting, the lady was all up in her business. She was standing right over her shoulder, telling her how high to hold it, every little thing. She got on to her about everything, and she just wouldn't leave her alone for 10 seconds so she could concentrate or get comfortable. And my mom finally asked this lady, "Do you want me to just leave?" And the lady said, "Yes." Okay. And my mom said, "Okay, well, screw you guys," and she left. Okay, I ended up finishing out, and I got my paperwork done, so I'm gonna get my license. But we left, and in the dream, whenever my brother, he pulled the knife out of his arm, seemingly to be in no pain whatsoever, probably because he was in shock, of course. But I put my hand over the wound, trying to stop the blood from coming out, trying to put pressure on it so it would stop bleeding. And whenever we left, my mom was kind of embarrassed, she was upset, and she was extremely agitated and annoyed with this woman. So metaphorically, that's the knife. She left and she had the knife in her arm. She was embarrassed, she didn't feel good, and someone deliberately laid that negativity on her. So, and I ended up taking her out to lunch and buying her a salad to make her feel better, and talking her up, making her feel good about herself. So that's me putting my hand on that wound. That was me trying to put pressure on that wound, and even though the blood was still coming out, I was doing my best. So I had a direct metaphorical premonition. I'm sorry it took me so long to explain it, but it was one of the most amazing phenomenon that I've experienced in a while. So lucid dreaming, there's techniques, you can activate it, you can do whatever you want, you can change a good experience or a bad experience into a good experience, or vice versa, of course, and you can learn from everything you experience during these dreams, because again, it's your subconscious communicating with you. So pay attention to your dreams, and you'll notice in the background I actually have a lucid dreaming binaural beat playing that you can find on YouTube very easily. Stay lucid, much love, namaste.